Welcome, everybody, to Bird's Nest Stadium in beautiful Georgetown, Kentucky, where our streak of Chamber of Commerce weather for the high school football season in 2021 continues, but we had to cheat and move it up 24 hours to get away with that. It is Thursday night football here, where the Scott County Cardinals come in with a record of 4-3, 1-1, 2-1 in the district, and they will go up against Montgomery County, also 4-3, 1-1 in the district, with a win tonight. In its final home game, senior night, Scott County would lock up no worse than the number 2 spot in the playoffs and presumably a rematch against Great Crossing. There's a game that has to be played with Great Crossing going to Frederick Douglass either tomorrow or, depending on the weather later on. It's scheduled for tomorrow right now, and that could, if they shock the world, the Warhawks could force a 3-way tie. But this is a pivotal game for the Cards. They can certainly hold up their end of the bargain, as they have 2 tough non-district road games left ahead of this. But we're glad to be here with you one more time for the Cards during the regular season. I'm Cal Oakes with Scotty Sutton. And Scotty, it's been tough for the Cards. They've had some ups and downs. They have a 2-game winning streak, but the second part of that winning streak, they didn't even have to take the field. They got a forfeit win last week. How much good will that do to get you healthy going into this stretch run?
Well, I think it's actually going to be pretty important. I mean, we talked last week about how it wasn't planned for them, but coming off of 2 emotional games, one with Great Crossings here and then going to Douglas, I think it couldn't have come at a better time. So now you're going to come into this game, you're going to be fresh. And again, we talked at the beginning of the season about how you want to be playing your best football right about this time with a couple of weeks left in the regular season. You can see the guys out here that are ready to play. And if you get a big victory here, then you start rolling and you go into the playoffs on a high note, and I think that's right where they want to be.
And you talked about it a couple weeks ago. Those were 2 emotional games that Scott County was coming off of before that unplanned bye. They went to Douglas. Of course, the whole episode with the bus fire, and then coming home to play Great Crossing, who was undefeated at the time. And a game that was not always easy on the eyes, but the Cardinals found a way to win it 14-6. Then that week off, and now they face a Montgomery County team that we saw just 6 nights ago, came in here and played tough for a half before they kind of faded at the end, and Great Crossing won that one by a score of 51-12. We were a little surprised by what we saw and maybe didn't see that night from the Indians, but what are you expecting tonight against Scott County?
Well, we talked about what we didn't see, which was the Diallo kid coming into that game last week was leading the team and rushing and had 2-1 on carries, had 98 carries going into that game, and I think we only saw him rush 1 or 2 times. I was extremely impressed with the Hatton kid when they let him throw, on first down when you weren't expecting to throw. Once they got into 3rd and long, it was difficult for him, but he had a great arm. He was hitting people in the numbers. You got to come out here, though, and you got to sustain drives. They had some drops last week, and if you get into a situation where you're not sustaining drives, you got to feel like Scott County then is going to, get up 14, 21 points, and then when they have to throw, that's when Hatton was getting all kinds of pressure, and it just made it difficult. So you've got to maintain those drives somehow, some way to keep this score close, so you don't have to get in predictable passing downs.
It's become increasingly difficult for teams to run against Scott County as the season has gone on. They gave up a ton of yards against Franklin County, but they really buckled down after that. 2 shutouts in 3 weeks against Lafayette and also against Dunbar. They had a pretty good defensive night against Bryan Station. That one just kind of unraveled in the last few minutes. But for the most part, this defense has continued, as Coach McKee has said, week to week, it's just gotten better and better and better.
They've been outstanding. Winning, the line of scrimmage makes it difficult for any team to run the football. And when you have to become one-dimensional, then they can just pin their ears back and come after the quarterback. And you got a lot of guys there who played a lot of football. And, it's kind of like that Kentucky team, when you got 8 or 9 seniors starting, then they're going to be pretty good.
On offense for Scott County, it's been up and down. It's been more of a by-committee attack and approach, I think, than maybe in years past. We saw that game against Dunbar where 8 different players scored a touchdown, and it hasn't been any one person. Montego Jones has been the workhorse at times, but they will try to hit you with Jeremy Hamilton, with Thomas Fikert. And in the last game, they were out here 2 weeks ago, we saw Ellis Hughley kind of break out and have a big night against Great Crossing. So that's got to bode well, too, is that you've got options here going into this later part of the season.
I don't think there's any doubt. People start to get beat up, and you have bumps and bruises here and there. And when you can go 4 deep and hand it off to a bunch of different people, then that's going to keep everybody fresh. Everybody's going to want that football. We talked about how hard Fikert runs the ball and Hamilton runs the ball. When you can do those things and they can stay fresh, then that's going to possibly give you a long run in the playoffs.
We didn't even mention Campton Martin. He's in that mix as well. He's had a very injury-plagued season. His super senior season, as it were, but hopefully that means he's getting recharged here and ready for the finishing kick, which after this week, as we mentioned, Scott County goes to Ballard, a top 10 6A program, and then goes to Lexington Catholic, a team that's top 5 in its class, and it's not going to get easier, but that's going to prepare them well for the postseason.
I think so, and I think the Scott County program loves playing games like that. Back when Sam was playing, they'd love to go play Elder and Moeller and teams like that, and it prepared them for the rigors of playoff football. And it's been a while. We talked about it's been a while since they played Catholic. It's going to be a lot of fun when they play them that last game of the year, and I think it'll just get them ready.
That's really the reason they started playing Elder and LaSalle, is because Catholic didn't have them on the schedule for many years, but now that that's happened, there was a planned trip to Elder this year that went by the boards. They decided to take the closer trip to home instead, and that will be a great test. And you think of Thursday night football, I think of a game they played against LaSalle. I think of a game they played against Highlands. This Thursday night thing isn't that unusual for Scott County, and last week they were supposed to play on Thursday night before that one got canceled. So how does that change your preparation as a coach, though? It shortens your week a little bit.
It does shorten it, but in this particular situation for Scott County, they didn't play last week, so I think they were already, up a little bit. Now for Montgomery County, not only does it shorten the week for them, but they're coming right back here to Georgetown, right back here to play another tough opponent. You wonder if that doesn't get into their minds a little bit, but I think Scott County will be fine this week because they had the time off last week. You get that extra preparation time, they're going to be ready to roll.
It is a beautiful senior night. The players and band members and everybody associated with the football environment honored before the game. It's just good to have all those elements back on the field this year. We will have one more home game for you. We won't have a game next week as both teams are scheduled to be on the road. We mentioned Scott County at Ballard. Great Crossing scheduled to go to Grant County. They are scheduled to go to Douglas tomorrow night. That game, by the way, for those of you that want to go in person, and it is also on an NFHS network, it will start now at 6 p.m. as they are trying to beat the forecast. That's the reason we're here on a Thursday night. It is not good, especially the later you go in the evening as the flashing lights come on here and they get ready to take the field through the Cards. 2 weeks from now, Collins will be coming in to face Great Crossing. That'll be on the 29th of October, a Friday night game at 7:30. And then the week after, we're going to presume right now, we're going to project Battle of the Birds 2 for this season. The first Friday in November will be a playoff game.
Well, that'll be a lot of fun, won't it?
Yes, we're looking forward to it. If it's anything like the first one,
yeah.
I think both teams have to feel like they left a lot on the table that night.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There were some turnovers, but it was still a heavyweight fight, and the excitement was there. All the community came out. We couldn't have asked for a bigger crowd, but then, that was kind of for bragging rights. Now you're talking about, okay, let's move on in the playoffs, and so I'm so excited to see that. I hope it plays out.
And you got both teams this week playing a team that the other team has already played, so I'm sure in the back of people's minds they're making comparisons and all that. But I think you got to get away from that. Both teams at this point really competing against themselves, as Coach McKee is fond of saying.
There's no doubt about that. You can't, Kaywood Lefford always used to say, if you compare scores long enough, Slippery Rock could beat Notre Dame. And, you just got to get away from that and say, okay, we're going to do, then it becomes about matchups. Who runs the ball well, who, on the defensive line, who can stop that run. So we'll see what happens, but I'm excited to get into playoff football.
This is a game that last year went to Scott County by the overwhelming score of 69-6, and it was Montgomery County scoring on the very last play of the game to avoid the shutout. So much different situation. They were winless last season with the Indians. They came into last week 4-2. Of course, had a tough night, especially in the second half against Great Crossing. But they are trying to stay on the plus side and trying to throw a wrench into everybody's plans here as far as who's seated where. They've already beaten Grant County, so they fairly know they are in the playoffs. It's just a matter of where they're going to go. Looks like Montgomery County will kick off. Scott County will be going from left to right on your screen or on your imaginary radio dial if you're following us here at newsgraphic.com. This game brought to you by BMT Maintenance, LLC. BMT Maintenance technicians who are factory trained and certified to serve an extensive variety of commercial HVAC, cooking, and refrigeration equipment. Give them a call today. The game of the week here on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. We're so glad to be with you. Glad you could join us, hopefully, on this Thursday night. As Montgomery County set to kick off. Scott County has been dangerous in the return game at times with Jeremy Hamilton this year. A little bit of a delay. Officials getting us ready to go. Both teams coming in at 4-3. And Scott County with that upper hand in pursuit of the number 2 spot. And there's a squib kick. Did it go 10 yards? It didn't, but Scott County picked it up anyway. It will go to the Cardinals right at midfield. So covered well. It was Paul Garner. The hands team was out there kind of anticipating that, I think.
Well, I'm sure they saw it last week because Montgomery County did that to Great Crossings and got away with it, excellent one time last week. But Paul Garner, a baseball guy himself, scooped that up just like a good second baseman would, and now they're in great fielding position.
Scott County with the red tops and the gray/coal/anthracite bottoms here as they go from left to right. It's a play action fake and a throw deep on first down, but just overthrown by a touch. If he put a little bit under that, it would have been 6.
That was absolutely a beautiful play action pass right there. Sold it. Who's going to think that Scott County is going to come out and throw it deep on the first play when they've lived and died in that wing tee? But he was wide open.
Andrew Hickey throwing the ball to Taylor Luttrell. Luttrell had a big catch in the Great Crossing win. Ball right at midfield, 2nd and 10. Going in motion is Hughley. Hickey will throw on 2nd down as well. Finds his man over there, a quick out, gain about 4. Garner makes the catch.
That was a dangerous throw there. They actually had a DB who was being blocked, but he was in between that ball, and if he had stuck a hand up, he could have at least knocked it down. But good throw by Hickey. I'm so impressed with the way he handles the ball as a young quarterback.
3rd and 6 from the 46 of Montgomery County. I got to imagine this is 4-down territory, even though it's early in the game. It's not going to matter anyway because this sweep's going to get first down and more at the 30, the 20, knocked out of bounds there. Thomas Fleichert, the sophomore, picking up 26.
I think we might get an unsportsmanlike here, Cal.
On Fleichert?
Yeah, it looked like he was.
Did he kind of get in the face after he was? Yeah, well, that's going to cost them 15. They'll mark it back. It'll be a first down. But it's a dead ball, unsportsmanlike. That'll move it back to the 36-yard line. So a great gain, kind of half wiped out there.
Yeah, you keep the first down. And it's still going to be first
and 10. It's not first and 25, fortunately.
Yeah, but you're just coming back 15. So instead of having it on the 20, you're going to be here on the 35, 36-yard line.
First and 10 for the Cardinals on the Indians.
Cardinals at the 36. We're just underway. 11-17 to play in the first quarter. Up the middle. Montego Jones spins just shy of the 30. He'll pick up 5. Senior fullback getting good yardage on first down.
Yeah, that patented fullback dive that Scott County just lives on. It's, it seems so simple, but they just continue to pound it and they continue to get yards. And, here you are in 2nd and 4 probably. And now you've got every call you can do here in the playbook.
Tego came in with team highs of 80 carries for 439 yards. Here's Hamilton on the outside. He'll get inside the 15 to the 10. He's knocked down there. I think he'll be shy of the 10, so it'll be a first down, but not first and goal. But another good gain of 20 for the senior Hamilton.
Excellent job by Scott County sealing that. The side right there, allowing him to get to the sideline. If they continue to fire off the ball like this, they're going to score a lot of points.
Hamilton, 3 touchdowns rushing, 3 receiving this season. He's done it in the return game as well. There's Jones up the middle, spinning to the 5, knocked down at the 4. So a patented Scott County drive, aside from the penalty that knocked him back, but didn't really hurt him in the long run.
And just like we talked about in the offset, they've already had 3 or 4 guys touch the ball, spacing it out, spreading it out, allowing a lot of guys to touch the football.
Throw to Garner and runs by Fikert, Hamilton, and Jones. Hickey will hand off to Jones again, and he will plunge in for 6 from the 5-yard line. Montego Jones with the touchdown, his 5th of the season, and the Cardinals break out on top with 9:57 to play in the opening quarter.
And that's just what Scott County does so well. Come out and just, they break your spirit by running the ball hard like that. And
Jacob Bange will attempt the PAT. Andrew Wilhite to hold. The kick is up. And good. Bange perfect on the season. He missed a game or 2, but he is back, and that is a rock-solid part of the Cardinals game going into the latter part of this season. 7-0. Scott County on top on senior night.
Can't ask for a better drive. You got a lot of people involved. And really the only play that didn't work was the play action pass, and they had a guy wide open on that Hickey will come back and hit next time. So if you're the Cardinals, you got to feel good about that drive.
Failed onside kick by Montgomery County, and the drive covers 50 yards, culminating in the 5-yard run by Montego Jones. But as you said, they spread it around. This is not a spread offense, but they have done a good job doing that, statistically speaking, this year.
And I think that's where Montgomery County, when they tried that onside kick, whether they gave it to them on the 50-yard line or kicked it all the way down and gave it to them on the 25, I think they just understand that in the trenches, the Scott County O-line and those backs are so good that they felt like they had to take a chance.
Scott County has been kicking it deep on the regular. They will do so again. A little bit of a squibber, but it's taken at the 11 and stopped at the 25. Nice tackle on special teams there by the Cardinals. Looked like 32 Jackson Saylor making the stop. So you get into that time of year where you've got guys playing in all 3 phases, or at least 2 of the 3.
That was a nice job by the return man, picking that ball up, getting it to the 25. If he lets that, could have gone all the way down to the 1.
Remember we saw the opening drive last week where it really hurt them and set them back early. You don't want to get pinned inside your 10. We will see. It is, again, Jones in the backfield this week. Hatton will throw on first down. It is complete out to this Scott County side, and that will be a first down across the 35. Catch by Tanner Donathan. He had the 2 touchdown grabs in the deep game last week.
And I love that play call. You come out. We talked about it. If they let him throw on first and second down, he's highly effective. He's got a good arm. Big
Hatton.
Striking young man. We wondered last week, what they had him listed, I think, at 6'2", but man, he's a good-looking prospect.
Yeah, I think we might have been guessing on the height, but that's got to be at least where he's at. Mr. Jones now, Adrian Jones. He's not going to get much on first down, and that kind of shows you why they threw coming out on first down. There's just not going to be a lot there, I don't think.
Yeah, you've got to mix it up if you're the Indians, because that front for Scott County is just going to make things so tough.
Hatton has thrown for 1,155 yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions this year, completing just over 54% of his passes. Tanner Donathan, that was his 12th catch. Devin Tall leads the team with 24 catches. He had a tough night last Friday, hanging on to some of those balls that he was putting right on. Throwing frozen ropes was Hatton. Second and a long 9. Another quick throw, overthrown, incomplete, intended for Harrison Haddix. Hatton just missed him by a touch.
Yeah, that's a long throw from one hash all the way over to the right sideline. But a ball I still felt like that maybe he could have caught it. It was a little high. We talked about last week about how they needed to help out and out a little bit more. But here's where you get in trouble. You got 3rd and long, and last week, Great Crossing brought the house, and they just, they couldn't block them in that situation. So I think Scott County certainly has the advantage here.
Hatton throws it quickly. It's incomplete. It'll be ruled a forward pass. It will be 4th and 10. Not even close there. He just tried to dump it off to Adrian Jones. A little miscommunication, I think.
Well, and it's, they're bringing the heat, and he knows if he doesn't get rid of it, he's going to take a big loss. And even if he completes that ball, Scott County's going to get him for at most a gain of 2 or 3 yards.
So either way, it's 4th and long, and Hatton will drop back in punt formation. Jeremy Hamilton back to receive. They're coming after it, but Hatton gets it away. Hamilton will take it on a hop at the 29. A hop, skip, and a jump to the 35. He's got the corner to the 40. Midfield, see ya. One last block. Who did it come from? It's a touchdown. I think Wilhite made the final push to get rid of Hatton, and Hamilton took it to the house, 71 yards, 13-0 Cardinals.
And that's just terrific all the way around. First of all, Hamilton doesn't let the ball, get by him. He comes up, he takes it on one hop, makes a step to the left, and then comes back, cuts against the grain, and they had a wall set up. It was absolutely perfect. He wasn't even touched.
It was 4 against 1, and Wilhite just kind of pushed Hatton out of the way, and it was real estate from there. As Hamilton runs it back for the second time this season, Bange, low line drive kick is good, and it's 14-0. Scott County with 8:13 remaining in the first quarter.
Excellent job to get that hold down.
This game brought to you, as always, by Bluegrass Orthopedics, serving athletes of all ages. Georgetown News Graphic, of course, Scott County's 24/7 news source. We're bringing this game to you, as always, at newsgraphic.com and on our YouTube platform. Galvin's on Main. Stop by Galvin's on Main after the game or anytime. More than 100 items on the menu. All good stuff. Denise M. Keene, certified public accountant for your tax and auditing needs. Brickhouse Properties, real estate buying and selling made easy. And Chick-fil-A, home of the original chicken sandwich. Jacob Bange will get ready to kick off. As good a start as you could have drawn up for the Cards. Offense and special teams make it 14-0, not even 4 minutes in. And Bange will squib it. Surprise onside, and the Cardinals pick it up with no resistance whatsoever. Jeremy Hamilton, who else? And this is just too easy so far.
It is. You could see Scott County had that in their game plan, though, by the way the coaches reacted. They knew that was going to be there. Just a nice, soft tap on the football. It goes 12 yards. And like you said, really didn't even seem like anybody was around it.
And the tip would have been they had a different kicker in there. They usually don't have Bange kick off. And they didn't have him kick off the first one tonight. Hickey will throw, play action deep. This time it's caught, thrown right on the money. Taylor Luttrell to the house. 46 yards, and this one is it's getting late early here, Scotty.
It is, but I tell you what I love about that is that that's very similar to the play that they ran on the first play of the game. Hickey comes right back. That was actually played better by Montgomery County, and yet Hickey puts it right on the money for a touchdown. Excellent job by the young quarterback.
About to be 21-0 as Montgomery County, well, Scott County's going to call a timeout before the PAT here.
I wonder if they're going to go for 2 right here.
Yeah, you want to get to that 36 at some point, so maybe you go for the 2 now.
I'd like to thank some of our sponsors. Bluegrass Orthopedics, serving athletes of all ages.
46-yard TD, Taylor Luttrell from Andrew Hickey. This game also brought to you by Toyota Motor Manufacturing of Kentucky, Clark's Pump and Shop, Return, Refresh, Refuel. 3 Georgetown locations to serve you. Georgetown Community Hospital, where your health and safety remain their number one priority. And West Banco, by all accounts, better.
Boy, Cal, we have seen some quality quarterback play this year, haven't we?
We have. We've seen guys that accurate throws, to say the least. We've got Gabe Nichols for great crossing. It was a tremendous season. Hickey, all you could ask for from a freshman. And they are going to go for 2. They're going to throw it again easily to Hamilton, 22-0. This has been just one-sided as it could possibly be for the first 4 minutes of a game.
Well, we talked about having that week off, and I could just tell by the way Scott County was warming up, the pep in their step. I mean, they were firing off just in preparing. Sometimes they'll kind of, I don't want to use the word lollygag, but they're not trying to kill themselves getting to the end zone in pregame. And they were just firing off the ball, and they were down there. You could tell they were really ready to play, and it's showing right now. I mean, they're up 22-0 with 8:02. This could get to a running clock in the first quarter.
Probably the goal, if McKee were being honest here. And if they play like this going down the stretch, look out Ballard and Catholic, because this is a team that could do some damage.
And that's a play right there on the 2-point conversion we haven't seen a whole lot of. That was a play action, but instead of going deep, you're hitting the back out of the backfield. I really like that design.
And we're seeing the old Warhorse learn some new tricks as McKee is throwing the ball a lot more with this young man, Andrew Hickey. And the way he talks about him, I think it's only the beginning of what we're going to see over the coming years, as they may diversify this offense a tad. They will kick it deep this time, do the Cardinals, taken at the 5 and no farther than the 20, as converging were Will Height and Hamilton. Hamilton has just been everywhere in every phase of the game so far.
You know, when you can score a touchdown and then go down there and make the tackle on the kickoff.
He's the first man there every time. Get himself a drink from Trainer Dan, and he'll go back out shortly, I'm sure. It's a warm night for October the 14th.
I'm not complaining.
No. You and me both.
I have the feeling in a couple of weeks when we come back.
I have a feeling Saturday, if you go to a football game, it's going to be brisk from what it sounds like. Jones quickly taken down there by Krebs. Gain of only a couple. Call it 3, 2nd and 7. So again, it's Jones doing a lion's share of the work on the ground. I'm beginning to wonder if those stats are correct.
Well, you know what? You might be right. But it had both of them in there.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, he's listed. Diallo was listed among the 5A leaders last week with all those numbers, averaging more than 100 yards a game. But this is the second week that they have used him. They've got him lined up in the slot right now. Maybe it's just a change of plans in their attack at midseason. Under fire, Hatton throws it deep, and it's almost picked. He had 2 guys right in his grill and had to get rid of it. Good throw and under those circumstances, but well covered.
It was an excellent throw under the circumstances. And the thing about Hamilton was you could tell he was just kind of running out, and then he was like, wow, that ball is actually well thrown. I better get on my giddy up. And he was able to break it up and almost get the interception. You know, going back to Diallo, we were talking about maybe changing up, but in those earlier games, they were scoring a ton of points.
Yes, they were. They had come in with back-to-back wins in which they averaged 45, and that was about what they were doing for the season, well into the 30s. There's a spin by Jones. He will get stopped shy of the 35. It'll be 4th and 6. Luke Colvin making the stop. They'll punt it away again, will the Indians. Last time, Hamilton ran it back for 71 yards. I got a feeling they'll kick it out of bounds, but who am I?
If they get it off, you can see
that
Scott
could be
County
the thing.
is bringing the house right here.
They are coming after it. Blood in the water. He barely gets it away. Hamilton will take it on a hop at the 43. He'll fake right and go left. He's got some space to the 40 and steps out of bounds. So it'll be great field position again for the Cardinals at the Indians' 40 with 6:10 to play here in the first quarter. Cardinals already up 22-zip.
And if you're Scott County offense, everything you've tried has worked. So you're feeling good about whatever you want to call. Now it's just about getting better, you getting better for next week and the following week and then the playoffs.
They are doing that. Coach McKee wasn't happy with the offense the past couple of games, even after the win against Great Crossing. And even though they had 300-plus yards, it was nickel and dime, to say the least. But this is a much different Cardinal offense we're seeing tonight. Jones finds room off left tackle. He's still going.
Man, he's running hard.
That is not the typical Montego Jones run. I had to look 2 or 3 times to make sure it was him because he didn't just plunge up the middle. He found another gear on the left corner, and he gained 19 yards to the Montgomery County 21. Cards on the move again for the 4th time, threatening for the 4th time. Hickey will throw. Quick slant to Garner, who's met there by a couple of Indians at the 15. It'll be a gain of about 5, assuming he gets his forward progress. Mark it at the 16. 2nd and 5 for the Cardinals.
And Cal, I'm not trying to overstate it. You've seen them on the road, but doesn't it just seem like even coming out of the huddle that they are so much sharper than they have been all year?
This is the sharpest they have looked. They've had a couple of weeks to practice. The tempo is there. Counter to Hughley. He should have the first down inside the 11.
Nice counter play right there. Haven't seen that in a while.
No, that is not part of the repertoire. We've seen it, and Hughley's the guy who has run it when we've seen it, but apparently a strength of his. They're working that left side. They're working every side, left, right, up the middle. As you said, it's all working right now. 1st and 10 from the 11. They can get another first down without a touchdown. Hickey will keep it. He'll get stopped for almost no gain. Good play there by Darian Owens.
It sure was.
Senior linebacker.
Sure was. He fought off a block. If he doesn't get there, I think Hickey's going to score. That was a great play by Owens.
Owens read his keys there, and it will be 2nd and 10. Cardinals is probably the longest they've taken to run a play. The play clock down to 25. And Hickey will step up under center now. Fake to Jones. Fikert hits the outside. He will spin to about the 6. It'll be 3rd and 5.
And Coach Willard, I think he's a little upset right there. A block was missed. If not, he would have gotten into the end zone right there by one of his big old linemen.
Fikert would have been still running. Jones up the middle, finds room, stutter step, and a touchdown. Montego Jones from 6 yards out. This one's getting out of control. 4:08 to go in the first quarter.
And again, that's just going back to your bread and butter when you need it.
Will Hyde holding for Bange again. 28-0 pending the kick. It is up and good. Cardinals 29, Indians nothing. And it has been about that easy.
It has. And if you're Montgomery County, that's tough when, when they're everything they run is working. You're just looking in that huddle saying to yourself, what can we do? But offensively, we talked about they got to get some sustained drives, and they haven't had one yet. It's been 3 and out and 3 and out.
I think they had one first down. It was on a first down throw. I think the first one,
That's
first
right.
play of the
First
night.
play of the game,
Since then, it has been nothing.
You're exactly right.
This game brought to you by Greens Toyota of Lexington. Great people, great cars, think Greens. Oster Paint and Flooring, your hometown paint and flooring connection. Scott County Veterinary Clinic. They love and treat your pets like their own. Come join the SC Veterinary Clinic family. People's Bank, working together, building success. at 101 Canewood Center Drive. We've seen an onside kick recovered. We've seen a punt return for a touchdown. So special teams has lived up to its name tonight. There is a little squib that's taken on a hop at the 20. Made one man miss, did the returner Tanner Donathan. He's still pushing the pile to the 35. Indians will have, I think, their best field position of the night to start anyway. But it's a long climb for Montgomery County, already down 29-zip.
It is. That was a good play by Donathan Noah again, coming up and getting that ball. I really like him. We saw him last week make some tough catches right there. I mean, it took a lot of guts to come up and get that because they were bearing down on him hard.
He's slippery. Both of his touchdowns last week, one he kind of outjumped his man. The other he took advantage of a missed tackle, but he did a similar thing here on this kick return. And again, save Montgomery County from potentially awful field position as the kicking game on special teams going right along with everything else for the Cardinals tonight. Hatton in the shotgun. He'll throw it quickly to Donathan. Donathan met at the 40 and will go no farther. Gain of 5.
That's just a good throw and catch right there. We've talked about it. When they do that on first down, when you're not necessarily expecting the throw, then he's usually right on target.
Saylor was over there. I think Wilhite as well.
And there's that fine line, if you're Montgomery County, you may be saying, well, we need to run the ball so we can run some clock, but you're not going to have to worry about that if they get one more touchdown. So
no, we're going to be running a lot of clock. Inside handoff to Jones, gains a yard, and that's it. Is met there by Cam Keller and also Quinn Brown. Cam Keller, one of the white donated helmets after the bus incident. And you can't miss him, white helmet or red helmet. He is a big drink of water out there at 6 foot, 300 pounds on the defensive line. Hatton to throw on third down. It's complete right at the stick to Devin Tall. Nope, it's incomplete, I guess.
Oh, you're right.
It sure looked like he caught the ball, but it was on the far sideline, and this official was signaling incomplete from way over here. So
it must have just went right. I mean, it was
right through his hands
again.
Yeah. We did see that multiple times a week ago. It's been a tough 2 weeks here in Georgetown for Devin Tall. They're going to go for it on 4th and 4 because why not? Down 29-zip, 2:38 to play in the first quarter. They'll run the same play to Donathan, and he will make the catch. First down at the 46. Tanner Donathan's the possession guy for this team, obviously. He has proven that over the past couple of weeks. Now we've got an official's timeout. Now we have a Scott County timeout as Monty wants to talk it over. He doesn't like giving up first downs, particularly 4th down conversions.
That's a competitor right there. You give up one first down and give
That's
me a
it.
timeout.
I'm going to burn a timeout. I'm not going to be needing too many tonight anyway.
And I think, in all seriousness, what he's saying right now is, look, they've run that exact same play multiple times where we, go down 5 yard out, or just a dig where they turn around and Hatton is putting it on them. So he may be saying, let's play tighter coverage. We don't necessarily have to worry about them throwing the ball long because our defensive line is going to get to the quarterback before they do that anyway.
This week I do have heights and weights on my roster. Hatton is 6'4", 211. He's a junior. And I've got to think his talent will translate to the next level somewhere because he throws darts.
Yeah, I really like him a lot. You said it earlier. He threw a lot of balls last week that should have been caught.
I mean, that was the hardest 4 for 21 night I've ever seen because 7 or 8 of them should have been complete.
And we're seeing a little bit of that already.
Yep. And he's not getting a lot of time to throw in either one of these games. First and 10 from the Montgomery County 46. Hatton in the shotgun, hands off to Jones. He's met for a loss by a flock of Cardinals. The two white helmets there, Keller. I believe Elijah Adams was in on it as well. And
Jones,
Jasante Harmon.
He's trotting off, but it looked like he got twisted up pretty good right there.
And we might see Diallo in the backfield then at some point.
Yeah, and he just went over.
He just went right down and
yeah.
laid down and is holding that ankle or calf or something. Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. We're in the final 2 minutes of this first quarter finally. Clock has stopped for 4 touchdowns so far, 29-0. Scott County on top. Hatton takes the shotgun snap again. A lot of time to throw, but too high this time for Alex Eisen.
And I think that's an adjustment that Coach McIntyre just made. They had him bracketed right there and then one-on-one on the outside going deep. So excellent job by Coach McIntyre right there, adjusting to what they're doing. We're not going to let you have that again.
3rd and 12 for the Indians. Clock stopped with 1:40 to play in the opening quarter. 1 touchdown away from a potential running clock here if you're the Cardinals as they dig in on defense. Hatton, time to throw. He'll come this way to the Scott County side. Tall will hang on. Good coverage there. Good catch. Logan Jones and Luke Valencia were both there. A couple of youngsters, a junior Jones and a sophomore Valencia. Valencia has really come on this past couple of games. Douglas, he had a turnover, a fumble recovery, 2 of them, I believe, and then forced one last week, 2 weeks ago, last game against Great Crossing.
Yeah. That was a good catch by Tall, though. Young man, good for him.
You want to
struggled
see
a little bit, but
24 catches on the season. He can obviously do it.
Yeah, that was an outstanding grab.
He's a big target.
He is.
He's
Sure
6'3", 193, a junior tight end. And we'll have timeout.
Yeah, that play clock was down to 1.
As Montgomery County will talk over this 4th and 8 play. 51.3 seconds remaining in the first quarter, dominated by Scott County, 29-0. More sponsors. Time to Shine Car Wash. Your car will shine at Time to Shine Car Wash. 8 Lexington area locations to serve you. Steve Skierman, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, ready to meet all of your insurance needs. Burger King, home of the Whopper. Domino's Pizza. Check out the new Georgetown location on the corner of Champion Way and US 25. Sword Performance, the official hydration product of Scott County and Great Crossing Athletics. Pick up a Shield drink at any Clark's Pump and Shop today. Jersey Mike's. Go see their new location opening soon if it hasn't already. And, of course, the nice title sponsor, BMT Maintenance. Commercial HVAC, cooking, and refrigeration equipment. They are factory trained and certified to serve you. Give them a call today.
And, Cal, this is where Montgomery County, their receivers have to know where they're at. They got to get to that first down marker.
Hatton rolling to his right. He's got a man down there, but Scott County had triple coverage. Trying to see who knocked away. Krebs was there, along with Wilhite. And the Cardinals will take over once again on Montgomery County's side of midfield.
And Hatton will be kicking himself there because he had Harrison Haddix wide open over on the sideline.
But he threw down the middle, and he had 3 red shirts to the 1 white and blue. And here come the Cardinals trying to put this away in the first quarter. Hickey will put it on his hip, and he'll get sacked. He'll get thrown down hard by number 9, Brody Shaw. We called his name many times last week, first time tonight.
And that was just a matter of good downfield coverage by Montgomery County. Nothing there. And, when there's nothing there, you had to pump fake, and then by that time the pressure got to him. So much better job by the Montgomery County secondary.
So the sack will push him back into Scott County territory. Here's the sweep. Lots of room this side for Fikert. He cuts back at the 35. Tripped up, ankle tackler. He was gone. Once again, Alex Eisen, we called his name on the offensive side as well. He makes the touchdown saving tackle, but a gain of 22. That'll be the final play of the first quarter, more than likely.
And that's just heartbreaking if you're Montgomery County. You get a sack, and you're thinking, okay, we're going to pin our ears back, and Scott County comes back and runs a sweep and gets 22 yards on it. That's and almost to the house.
They've got so many ways they can hurt you.
And we have talked so many times about how hard Fikert runs the ball. Man, so impressed with that young man.
Fikert only a sophomore, and he has stepped it up for this team. They've been part of that backfield by committee, and we've seen it again tonight. Jones has run it hard early, but so has Hamilton, so has Fikert, so has Hughley.
If I could have everyone's attention, please. Jimmy Padgett is number 63.
And we're going to have a ceremony honoring the late Jimmy Padgett, former Cardinal who recently passed away
His fiancee Maddie, daughters Aurora and Ellis,
under tragic circumstances. He played for Coach McKee and Coach McIntyre. And they are out there to greet the family.
Passed away recently from a welding accident. He said, "Don't count the days, make the days count." Jimmy Padgett was a great teammate, always striving to help others, always placed the team first and working in a manner in which he made everyone who knew him proud. Jim Padgett will forever be in our hearts as a football program and community. Now, his mother Mary will present Coach McKee with a plaque that will hang in Bill Wilson Fieldhouse.
They're going to present Coach McKee with a plaque to hang in the field house, the Bill Wilson field house, to honor Jimmy Padgett in perpetuity. And the fans, rightfully, a standing ovation for a fallen member of the Cardinal family. And I'm sure Jimmy's got a good seat and enjoying this one so far tonight, Scotty.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. A young man who loved this community.
It has been total domination by his Cardinals. We just got the stats. How's 170 yards to 28 sound so far? It's been about even in terms of time of possession and plays run. It's not even on the scoreboard, 29-0. And as we said, they've spread it around. Fikert, 52 yards. Jones, 41. Hamilton, 20 on only one carry. Hickey, 3 for 4 through the air for 56 yards.
And I tell you what jumps out at me is the average rushing per attempt by Fikert, 17.3. Hamilton, 20. Montego Jones, only 8. Only.
It's called big chunk football there. See, 12 for 114, so 9.5 yards a pop. That includes a sack. So conventional running plays, they have hit double digits on average. That's going to build the lead in a hurry, and it has. Scott County at the 30, threatening to score, and a touchdown and a PAT would send this to running time early in the second quarter. Andrew Hickey, the freshman quarterback, continuing to improve as he guides this offense. He will pitch it here. No gain, little to no gain. Luke Colvin's going to get in there early. I think we'll probably see him again later, too. They like to put him in there when the lead is safe and get him a few touches on offense. He has kind of sacrificed the past couple of years and been primarily a defensive guy. 2nd and 10 for the Cards. Fikert in motion. Hickey will throw it quickly that way, but it will not be to Fikert. It will be a first down past the 20. Logan Jones getting in there, so they are utilizing everyone.
They are. I tell you what, that was a terrific individual effort. He should have been tackled for a loss. Splits the defenders. Then it takes another guy to bring him down. That was an excellent play.
Jones missed a couple of games. He was in a walking boot for a while. Good to see him back out there. Hickey, play action, wide open. There it is. Touchdown from 18 yards out. Thomas Fikert wide open in the end zone. I mean, nobody within 20 yards.
But again, when you're running the football like that, everybody's trying to come in and stop that run, and you just slip out. And as you said, there wasn't anybody even close to it.
Running clock for the final 35 minutes and 6 seconds of this game. Thomas Fikert gets in the end zone and joins the party. You just mentioned his contributions in the running game.
Well, you had to just almost see this coming. But, we talked about having the week off, even though they hadn't planned it, get some extra preparation time. Montgomery County coming off a short week, losing a day of preparation to try to get this game in. And it was already going to be a tall task for the Indians. But when you get one less day of practice, and the Cardinals obviously had, a little extra because they didn't play last week, then I'm telling you, they look so sharp, so sharp.
The Montgomery County Indians playing for pride for the rest of this one. They're going to drop to 4-4 on the season. And Scott County is going to finish 3-1 in the district. No worse than second place outright. The kick taken at the 20 and advanced past the 30. Donathan again with the yardage in the return game for the Indians. They'll mark it at the 30. And now if you're Scott County, defensively, you'd love to get that shutout again. You'd love to continue to just do what you've been doing. And sometimes there's the danger of losing your attention to detail here. So we'll see if the Cards can continue to perform on that side of the ball. Looks good so far. Thrown for a loss by Jasante Harmon.
Boy, he fired off right there. That was an outstanding play by the tackle.
Another one of those youngsters in the lineup. He's a sophomore, 6 feet, 265, a defensive end.
That young man has a bright future right there.
This program has a bright future, and the past is pretty good too, in case y'all hadn't noticed. Of the 22 starters against Great Crossing, I believe 14 were underclassmen. So, and he supposedly didn't start anybody two ways. Obviously, Hamilton and some others played a lot. Hatton to throw to the left side. Donathan stuck immediately for a minimal gain at the 32. Danny Armstrong making the stick over on the Montgomery County sideline. 3rd and 8.
We've seen a stout defensive front by Scott County this year, but to me, this is the best they've looked. I mean, they are, even when they're not getting to the quarterback, it's a 3-step drop and they're almost there, and he's getting rid of it. And that's out of the shotgun.
Hatton under duress will get rid of it. Good throw, but Tall just kind of didn't turn around until it was too late. Went through his hands. Maybe a step too far.
We saw that exact play last week where he had to throw it early and Tall wasn't able to pick it up. But had he might have had a catch for a big gain.
Pretty well covered by Andrew Wilhite. And between that and Hatton having to get rid of it, he overthrew it just a touch. 4th down and 8. I would expect Montgomery County will go for it. They've got the running clock to minimize the damage.
We'll see if Coach McIntyre brings the heat or drops 8.
They could quick kick it, I guess. They do have Hatton back there, but he's going to throw, and it will be incomplete. Scott County will take over there at the 32 with the running clock, 8:06 and counting in the second quarter. Cardinals lead 36-0 and will probably add more shortly. They're 4 for 4 offensively. They've also scored on special teams tonight.
They've looked good all the way around. That play right there, I noticed they ended up dropping 8 guys, and I think it's just because Coach McIntyre he loves the front three was getting pressure regardless. So we'll let you guys go to work, and we'll let the rest of everybody else, play in the secondary. And man, that's a good formula for success.
Hickey will throw again. He got held up a little bit. Incomplete, no flag.
So many play action passes.
No, this
in
is
a while.
This is something I think you're going to see going forward. You're going to have to see. They're not going to be able to run the ball to beat Frederick Douglass if it comes to that down the road.
Good
that run wide by Hughley, tripped up by number 1, Corey Barber, and Hughley slow to get up.
Barber actually leads the team in solo tackles.
Third and 8. Clock will stop momentarily with 6:48 to play in the second quarter.
Looks like his right knee.
Yeah, I don't know if it buckled awkwardly or.
He's getting up. That's good.
Walking off gingerly, but under his own power, is Ellis Hughley, the sophomore. 5'6", 153. He's a scat back type, wingback. Third and 8. We'll see if we see Hickey's arm again in this situation. Nope, he'll just hand it off. It'll be the first down inside the 15.
And that's too easy, right?
Hamilton always makes it look easy and effortless, as we have mentioned. But he finds that gear and cranks it out for another gain of just about 20 to the 15. And the Cards threatening. Hickey will throw. Little timing pattern to Jones. Touchdown. Single coverage. He just kind of stepped back and waited for it. Montgomery County's Barber overran it, and Logan Jones has a touchdown.
Yeah, that was outstanding adjustment right there. When you have a 50-50 ball right there, the offensive player has to make a play for you, and that's what he did. Comes back, makes a nice catch for Hickey, and they hook up again.
Not to belabor the point, but this is the sharpest Scott County Cardinals team I have seen in over a year. They're playing angry tonight.
They are. Well, they had a long time.
They've had a long time to think about some things that didn't go well in the 2 weeks before that. They beat Great Crossing, but offensively, not a vintage night. And defensively, they really took advantage of stops and turnovers in the red zone, but it wasn't like an overpowering performance, and that was coming on the heels of the loss to Douglass. And they've learned something about themselves in the interim, I think. Between fall break and 2 weeks of practice.
Yeah, they were thrilled to get out here on the football field, and it's showing.
5:48 to play in the first half, and the Cardinals are on top 43-0. And they show no signs of letting up.
Jones, Donovan Ice back for the go.
Kick returned to about the 30, and that's it. Donathan again, well covered by the Cardinals. Isaac York has been good pursuer on special teams this year. He was in on that stop. He's been in on many. He's not a name you mention outside of special teams much, but he will be in the future. Only a freshman. I believe he's probably one of those reclassified freshmen. Hatton throws it quickly, and that will gain nothing. In fact, be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
It's our guy Diallo there. We've been calling.
Diallo getting the touch. He hasn't had many these past couple of weeks. Montgomery County obviously trying some different approaches here in these couple of district games. But part of it is because I don't think they're going to run the ball conventionally on this team, and they weren't going to do it on Great Crossing either. There's a quick throw dropped.
Another one.
How many drops can Alex Hatton endure? Haddock's had that one right on his hands.
And you just said it. I mean, bless the young man's heart. He's back there, getting pressured, and he's like you said, he's throwing darts. I mean,
yeah, I don't know what more the guy can do. You hear footsteps as a receiver, and it's easy to say, you should have caught it, but my goodness. 3rd and 10 from the 29. They'll just hand it off and lose more yardage.
Nice tackle that time by the Cardinals. Couldn't pick up
another
number.
TFL for Isaac Krebs. He's been in on a bunch of negative plays tonight. Positive plays if you're the Scott County defense.
You have the linebacker move from defensive end last year. Boy, I like the way he attacks the football.
He's almost limber enough to be. He's kind of a defensive back in passing situations. We saw him break up a 4th down throw there a little while ago. He's listed at, what's he listed at this year? 6'1", 186. That's up from about 165 a year ago. 4th down throw, underthrown, Scott County ball. And this is where, you see scores, whether it's in the newspaper or online or something, and people immediately chime in and criticize the winning team. Sometimes you got to help yourself.
That's right.
If you go for it on 4th down deep in your own territory, you're probably going to get scored upon. And I don't think Montgomery County's complaining. I'm thinking the average fan who doesn't go to some of these games sometimes chimes in and they don't really know the whole story.
Yeah, when you're giving the other team the ball on the 26, that's not a long way to go.
I saw a game in my old stomping grounds in New England last week, 77-0, and people were on social media kind of mouthing off that weren't there. And some other people say, well, there's only so much you can do when you return 3 picks for touchdowns. And
exactly.
What are you going to tell a kid, to run out of bounds?
Yeah.
They practice all week, too, even if they're 2nd and 3rd string. Here's Jones spinning up the middle to the 26. Cards have plenty of time to score, 1:48. They got one timeout. I don't think they probably won't use it. That is one caveat, I would think, unless situationally you get down inside the 5 or something. Hickey, pump fakes. Now he'll throw it off to the safety valve, Fikert, who will get lassoed out of bounds inside the 25.
Well, I think that was they weren't on the same page there. Hickey looking for just a quick out, and they ran a go pattern, so he had to go back, check down to his back out of the backfield.
Scott County looking like a West Coast offense here tonight. 1:03 to play and counting. 3rd and 6. They'll hand it off. It's Saylor in the game. We haven't seen him a running back at all this year. He has been on the defensive side of things, but another 1st down. Clock continues to run. Down to 45 seconds. Senior night, Saylor getting the carry. They might try to get him a tutty before it's over. Counter play. Nope, it was a fake, and Hickey's going to get sacked. He faked it well, but he didn't fake it well enough to fake out the Indians' defense. 3 guys all over him. And that will inspire Scott County to use that remaining timeout with 21.4 seconds remaining. McKee will take his headset off. They're going to try a field goal. This is a full playoff prep at this point, as it will be a 40-yarder. For Jacob Bange. And they'll kick a field goal on 2nd down. And where they'll mark it, it'll be a 41-yarder. Cardinals have had plenty of kickers over the years who could make this, and Bange has been good on the PATs. We'll see if he's got the leg on the field goal. He certainly does. It would have been good from 55. And that's going to make it 46-0 at the half.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago. When you get into playoff football and you can have a kicker who can make field goals like that, that is a huge asset. You don't think a lot about it in high school football, but being able to kick that, it's huge.
It's big in close games, and you think when you get into November football, a lot of them are close, even the ones you don't expect to be sometimes. The clock does stop for the score with 4.6 seconds left. We'll have a kickoff and a return, and that should do it. So Jacob Bange drills the 41-yard field goal. Soccer player, multi-sport letterman here in his senior year.
What position is he on the soccer team, Cap?
He plays kind of a defensive midfield. Strong leg, obviously.
Yeah.
They had a tough season. The Cardinals went 0-15 in soccer. Their numbers compared to Great Crossings, not great. We'll talk about Great Crossing at halftime because they pulled off the upset of the season in Kentucky high school soccer. That will run out the time. 46-0, Cardinals on top. We'll have some stats for you, and they are all Scott County. Probably an extended halftime here on senior night. But we'll still all be home early. The second half will be running time. How impressed are you?
Well, offensively, they just look like a machine. Everything was working. And I think you said something that was very astute when you were talking about, I think a lot of that play action was they're working on the playoffs.
He was 1 for 10 against Douglas, yeah. and that's not going to cut it. But
I think they'll be the first to tell you, hey, we're not looking past Great Crossings or anybody else, but we know that if we want to get to the state championship game, we've got to be able to do this.
Even to beat Great Crossing, they're going to.
Right.
So you could say he's looking forward to the playoffs, period. And that's, in either case, the offense didn't set the world on fire against Great Crossing either. So it's definitely seeing either one of those teams again, first, second round, whatever, they're going to have to throw it. They just have not been able to run the ball consistently as Scott County is accustomed to doing in those games. So. The band on senior night, I don't know if it's pajama night or what.
Well, is it that, or is it maybe a little early for Halloween?
That could be. Since they don't have any home games guaranteed other than a playoff.
Yeah, that's pretty fun when they've always let the band wear their costumes. I think that's pretty cool.
And I always love any school that has a football player or two mixed in there, and we have that is again the case tonight.
We talked about seeing some great quarterbacks. We've also seen some outstanding band action, both Scott County and Great Crossing. Both of them are outstanding.
Yeah, they used to be the biggest, baddest band in the land, and they don't quite cover the turf anymore because they've had to split them in two. But it's still an impressive music program. Of course, we honored the late band director a few weeks ago, and his daughter has carried on the tradition here at Scott County, Lindsey King. Is that Krebs down there from the football team in the band? I can't tell. Yeah, it is.
I'm just trying to pick out some of the costumes.
I got a Winnie the Pooh down there. I feel like I'm announcing.
Vader.
I feel like I'm announcing the Thanksgiving Day Parade on NBC or something. Yeah.
Let's see. Looks like Black Widow.
I was gonna say I might be showing my age that I can't identify some of these characters. You got one on crutches. That's commitment
That is.
in a marching band.
I think I see a Harry Potter down there. It's always a good go-to.
Indeed. Might be a Ninja Turtle down there. I don't know. Here we got stats. We can get away from the cartoons for a little while. Andrew Hickey, 7 for 9, 103 yards and 3 touchdowns. That is a career night for the freshman. It won't be the last. He's been sacked twice. That's been the positive for Montgomery County. They've had sacks from Brody Shaw, and then that shared one from Corbin Haas and Rex Martin moments ago to force the field goal. Let's go over the scoring. Montego Jones from 5 yards out capped a 7-play, 51-yard drive, took only the first 203. That was after a failed onside kick attempt, and it was 7-0 Scott County. Quick stop. They got 1 first down and then 3 plays and punt. Jeremy Hamilton ran it back 72 yards for a touchdown on the punt return. Bange kicked the extra point. 14-0, 8:13 remaining first quarter. After that, onside kick, surprise onside from Scott County. They recover. Jeremy Hamilton recovered, as a matter of fact, and that's set up on the very next play. Hickey, who had missed one earlier in play action to Luttrell, hit him for 46 yards down the right sideline. Hamilton caught the PAT pass, 22-0. Only 11 seconds elapsed between scores. Then another 6-yard touchdown run by Montego Jones, his second TD of the night, capped the first quarter to make it 29-0. And then finally Hickey with touchdown passes to Thomas Fikert for 18 yards and Logan Jones for 15. First one sent it to running time after the Bange kick. 36-0, 43-0, and then the 41-yard field goal by Jacob Bange to close it out with 4 seconds remaining in the half. Total yardage, 241-29. Doesn't get much more total domination than that. 18 carries for 138 for Scott County. 7 rushes for a net -1 for Moco. Indians have had more time of possession. That's because Scott County has scored and given it back to them repeatedly. Red zone 5 for 5 are the Cardinals, and that's good going into the late season and the postseason, Scotty.
It is. You got to be able to score, and that's really what sort of hampered them against Great Crossings, moving the football, but not punching it in necessarily when they got down close in the red zone. But when you get the opportunities, like they did against Frederick Douglass, you've got to be able to take advantage, and that's why they're working on so many things tonight. What is going to work well for us when we get into those 4th and 5 quarters? What is going to work well for us when we get into those 4th and 5 quarters? What is going to work well for us when we get into those 4th and 5 quarters? What is going to work well for us when we get into those 4th and 5 quarters? What is going to work well for us when we get into those 4th and 5 quarters? What is going to work well for us when we get into those 4th and 5 quarters? What is going to work well for us when we get into those 4th and 5 quarters? What is going to work well for us when we get into those 4th and 5 quarters? What is going to work well for us when we get into those 4th and 5 quarters? What is going to work well for us when we get into those 4th and 5 quarters? What is going to work well for us when we get into those 4th and 5 quarters? What is going to work well for us when we get into those 4th and 5 quarters? What is going to work well for us when we get into those 4th and 5 quarters? What is going to work well for us when playoff football games.
Yeah, this is a dress rehearsal. There's no question. They're going to have a playoff atmosphere next week when they go to Louisville to take on Ballard at their refurbished stadium. The Bruins have had a good season. They gave Trinity all they could handle a week ago. I think that one was 20-17 or something of that nature. So anytime you can hang with Trinity, not the vintage Trinity team, but certainly still a top 3 or 4 team in 6A. Defensive stats, Saylor with 5 tackles to lead the Cardinals tonight. Krebs with a couple of tackles for loss, but really the defense, it's been a lot of incomplete passes. 6 for 16 is Hatton for 30 yards. Donathan has caught 4 of those. He's really been the only guy he can count on to keep both hands on the ball tonight.
When you had talked about going to Ballard, and you said anytime somebody can hang with Trinity, but really anytime you go to Louisville, you know you're going to be tested.
Yeah, I know. We went a few years ago, went to PRP, and that's about the only one that I can remember that's been kind of one-sided.
Yeah, 65-0.
Yeah, that was a drilling.
2017.
Michael Jackson's Thriller is one of the most famous music videos of all time.
Got the Sword Performance Shield drink here at halftime. Proud sponsors of the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. I'm thankful for the liquid refreshment here.
They've definitely taken care of us all year.
We taking in this band performance. They've gone from Lady Gaga to Aretha to Bow Wow Wow with the last one. I'm better with the music than I am with the cartoon characters, Scotty. Little I Want Candy before this.
Yeah. Little Michael Jackson here.
Indeed. That's right. We're going to get Thriller. They should have come out in Thriller costumes. See, that really would have been
Then you would have.
I would have known that instantly. You'd take me right back to middle school.
I'm actually having to text my daughter on some of these that I know she knows. One was her favorite character, and I couldn't think of the name. And I said, I've got to. Oh, Jack Skellington. That's what it was. I saw Jack Skellington down there.
The rich pageantry of Scott County football, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. They are up 46-0. We'd talk a lot more football if it were closer. We mentioned Ballard next week. The Cardinals will go to Lexington Catholic the week after that. Speaking of Lexington Catholic, we want to give a shout out to the Great Crossing soccer team. Their season ended last night with a 7-0 loss to the Knights over at LCA in the region semifinals. But 2 nights before that, there are all kinds of analogies I've tried to come up with. It's hard to come up with one that fits. Madison Central was ranked 14th in the nation by Max Preps. They were 19-0-1. Depending on what ranking system you look at, they were either number 2, number 3, or number 4 in the state. They had beaten Great Crossing 8-0 during the regular season. The Warhawks won 3-2 in double overtime on a hat trick by Aiden Bryan, a senior. Just 3 lasers. One was a free kick, one was a penalty kick with 2 minutes left in regulation, and then finally in overtime finishes to the right corner of the net. And Great Crossing, I mentioned 14th in the country was Madison Central. If you look at that same ranking, I believe Great Crossing was ranked like 1,056th or something like that. And so, I don't even know what to compare it to. It's an upset that you weren't expecting to see, and just an amazing thing they'll tell their kids and grandkids about.
And regardless of the rankings, when you say 8-0 in the regular season, and as you said, that's an enormous amount in soccer.
That's like 56-0 in football. It's like this game right here.
Yeah, I think it's maybe even worse. And that just goes to show what kind of guts and hard work they put into it. Because I'm telling you, working in Richmond like I do, that team thought they could win a state title.
And they had every reason to believe it. I mean, O'Shea is one of the best players, if not player of the year in the state. They shut him out, which is almost impossible to do. And just a special night for the Warhawks. And I kind of use the tennis analogy. You beat You beat Roger Federer, and then you're going to come back 2 nights later and beat Novak Djokovic.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So the loss to Catholic probably didn't surprise me, but just hats off to Great Crossing for what they accomplished and made it to the semis in the region for the second time in 3 years. They got to the final 2 years ago.
Well, and like you said, 10 years from now, they're not even going to be talking about
No,
that Catholic
they're not gonna
loss.
care about it.
They're going to talk about that win against Madison Central. So,
And if anything, a lot of us in Georgetown take kind of dual pride in that, because if you look at that Catholic roster, there's some kids that grew up in the Georgetown Football Club that contributed heavily to that win. So soccer has come a long way in this community, and that was more evidence of it this week. So great week for Great Crossing soccer. And now our attention will turn to the volleyball tournament, where I think both teams have some high hopes. Scott County will have to beat Bryan Station, which is a tall order in the 42nd district, but it's attainable. They've played a tough schedule.
Yeah, no doubt.
They put together one of their best seasons in a while, 17 wins.
Yeah, I saw them up close. They came down our way and played, and they got some outstanding talent.
Great Crossing is number 12 in the state in volleyball. They are at number 6 Ryle tonight. They lost a 5-setter at number 14 Bryan Station last night. They have played every other top dog in the 11th region. And it's a similar situation to a lot of teams. You have to challenge yourself. If your district isn't as tough,
right,
you've got to go challenge yourself. They should certainly roll through the district. They've done it for 3 years now, and then it's a case of they get to host the district and region tournaments. So there's an opportunity there, some familiarity being on your home court, and we'll see where that takes them. You can watch those games on the NFHS network if you have the monthly subscription. We'd invite you to do so. I got to tell you, I never covered much high school volleyball before I got to Kentucky, but it is played at a high level here. Certainly the sport has a level of notoriety that it's never had before, with the national championship for the Kentucky Wildcats and just a lot of things contributing to the interest at the high school level.
It's exploded. It really has.
Yeah. So check that out. Like I said, it'll be in town. You can check out the schedule. We'll certainly mention it on social media and in the paper, and you can go see it live or certainly watch it at home in the comfort of your living room. So getting ready for the second half here as the teams have come back on the field, and 24 minutes of running time. If you're Scott County, you just want to stay healthy and you just want to continue to stay sharp, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we only saw the ones for maybe a series, maybe 2. But then I think you start getting in the 2s and 3s, and just like you said, try to keep everybody healthy and move on to next week and continue to improve.
You're probably not going to have more than 3 or 4 series anyway, given the running clock. Barring any major surprises, tonight's BMT Maintenance LLC player of the game will be Jeremy Hamilton. He changed the game early in special teams with the 72-yard punt return, and then right after that, the onside kick recovery, and then right after that, a 2-point conversion catch that sent this thing to a running clock very early. And he's probably earned it several other times this year where it's been a hard one to decide. He's had a couple of phenomenal road games, so we'll be happy to honor Jeremy tonight with that, unless something goes completely haywire here in the third and fourth quarter. But this game, for all intents and purposes, is in the books. Scott County will improve to 5-3, and we'll be on the road for the next 2. They'll be back here Friday night, first Friday night of November the 5th to be exact. And unless anything unforeseen changes, it will be against Great Crossing, and we're all looking forward to that. The crowd, if you thought it was good a couple of weeks ago, wait till everybody comes out for a win or else game.
Now, is Great Crossing's last district game tomorrow? Is that their last?
They've got to go to Grant County in a week. So they are at Douglas tomorrow night, weather permitting, 6 p.m. You can watch that on the NFHS network. You can follow my Twitter at Oaksie, OAKSIE 72. Please do follow. Please also do follow the newsgraphic sportstalk.com YouTube platform where we do a sports show every week. This week's show was on the Great Crossing soccer team, but as we get into the football playoffs, we'll be hitting these football teams a lot more. And you can watch all the archive shows as well on there. Great Crossing. After that game, we'll go to Grant County next week, and then we'll host Martha Lane Collins High School here. Should be a good one. That's a right on the fringe of the top 10, both teams this year in 5A. Good even matchup, it would appear. They played a lot of those teams from Shelbyville and North Oldham, and that's been kind of when Great Crossing goes out of the district, they head over that way a lot. It's going to be a good test.
Yeah, I still think of, and I shouldn't, but I still think of Collins as new. When I was in school, it was just Shelby County, and a lot like we're started Great Crossing in Scott County, and
exactly.
I'm trying to think of what the first year for Collins was.
Was that early 90s maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure when it was.
It may have been.
It was before my time here, but
I just graduated just a few years ago.
Just a couple?
So.
Yeah. Just a couple.
That was actually a big rival of ours when I was in school, Shelby
County.
Yeah.
Well, they were.
Well, and at that time, you probably don't know this, but we were in the 8th region in basketball. So we were not in the 11th region. So in the 8th region, it was us and Shelby County and Oldham County and
Coach Willard's alma mater, isn't it? Shelby County.
Shelby County, that's right.
So there's a lot of connections here. The Great Crossing, both baseball coaches in the county went to Shelby County. Greg Stratton at Great Crossing as well. Rodriguez will kick it deep, we assume. Bange was in the game for the onside kick. No reason to onside kick when you're up 46-0. And Rodriguez will kick it way deep to the 5, taken there by Eisen. The returns have not been too fruitful tonight, and that one will be stopped at the 23. I don't believe Montgomery County has started past its own 35 on any series tonight. Clock will run. This will be pretty much 24 minutes of real time, except for injuries and scores. But we thank you for joining us on an odd night, a Thursday night, a beautiful Thursday night here. Like we said, tomorrow night, if you are going to the Great Crossing Douglas game, you'll want to leave early, both to fight the rush hour traffic and to get there for the adjusted start time of 6 p.m. Running play merits nothing on first down. It's Jones once again. Jones in the first half, 6 carries for 4 yards.
Yeah, there's
1 yard. Sorry, net.
There's just been nothing there all night. The Scott County front has controlled that line, and anytime there's been a run play, it's been for basically nothing. And if it's been a pass play, then they're breathing down Hatton's throat.
That's only the 8th carry from Montgomery County tonight. Net minus 1 yard of total rushing offense. 29 yards total offense, period. Hatton in the shotgun. He will throw to the left flat, complete to Tall, stops short of the first down. Nice tackle there.
That's a good throw and catch right there.
And a good job by number 21, Danny Armstrong, to stop him short of the stick. But, yes, it was a good catch by Tall, who's had a couple of tough weeks, as we mentioned. But he makes his second grab of the evening here to set up 3rd and 2. Hatton in the gun. Will hand off to Jones. Jones will try to lunge forward. I don't think he made it, but it'll be close. 4th and probably a foot. He's marked shy of the 33.
And so many teams don't even have this in their repertoire, but I sure would like to see, as big as Hatton is, just go under center and, quarterback sneak this right here. But you get 4th and an inch, and I haven't seen them go under center once. I'm assuming they're going to go out of the shotgun again, and that just gives that defensive
Yeah.
front.
I just hate that because you're already penalizing yourself 3 or 4 yards when you have 4th and inches. They're going to throw it anyway. It's complete to Jones, first down across the 35 to the 40. Yeah, we've seen Hickey quarterback sneak it a couple of times, but you're right. It's not something that a lot of teams that run the spread do or even can do much of because it's putting your center and your quarterback in a situation they're not normally in, for one thing.
Yeah, and to me, I don't care if you're going to run the spread or you're going to run the wing T, whatever, but you ought to be able to – Scott County ought to be able to, go out of the shotgun if they had to here and there. And so.
I think they'll probably be able to with Mr. Hickey in the coming years if they choose to do so and shake things up. Gain of a couple. Diallo finally gets another carry. Krebs has been a force tonight. It's hard to overlook his role in this game, too. On the defensive side, he's broken up a pass on 4th down, and he's made a couple of tackles for loss. This one, a gain of 2. 8 minutes to play in the third quarter. Montgomery County would sure like to run as much of that time as they can and minimize the damage. Hatton to throw again, throws it behind his receiver. Eisen couldn't turn around and make the catch.
And Cal, I want to tell you that it's not going to show up in the stat sheet, but I'm watching this up close, and Harmon is unblockable right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he is in that backfield every time.
Yep. As we said, 265-pound sophomore. He's just going to get better and better and better. Hatton to throw again under pressure from Harmon. He gets it off to Diallo, who gets the first down across midfield. Still on his feet inside the 45. Give the Indians credit as they continue to fight and scratch and claw. They did this last year right up to the final play to avoid getting shut out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's easy to, just to give up, but they're coming out here putting a nice drive together. They're playing for themselves right now. Hey, let's get better for next week.
Yeah, and I believe they've still got to play Frederick Douglass, bless their heart, and then they'll probably have a tune-up game to get ready to play Douglass again, more than likely in the playoffs. So it doesn't get any easier for the Indians as Diallo carries it to the 40 or just shy. Gain of 3.
And that's, I was just going to say to myself, now that's a pretty good first down gain, but from what we've seen, 3.5 yards is a upgrade.
I mean, that is more than the average for sure. The average has been minus or right at 0.
But I like the way the line is firing off right here. And just like you said, they're
matriculating the ball down the field.
Yeah.
2nd and 7. They have used up half of the third quarter. Hatton throws it to the left side. He does complete. Nice tackle there.
Sure
he might have been gone. Logan Jones wraps up Harrison Haddix at the 35. It'll be 3rd and less than a yard.
And he's disappointed that they got a catch on him, but he was right there. It's just a good throw and catch, but he did an excellent, one-on-one. Not easy to tackle in open space like that, but we saw last week against Great Crossings, you just miss one tackle and he spins away and gets a touchdown.
I think Coach Monty McIntyre is going to get a timeout. He's not happy with the fire that he's seeing out of the locker room or the huddle, as it were. And the halftime defense certainly was playing with a little more urgency than they are right now, understandably. It's 46-0. But.
Yeah, but, even with the running clock, I understand that. But it's almost been a 7-minute drive to this point, and I think he's seen enough.
Yep. They're getting forward progress in the running game, which they haven't all night. And then just able to dump it off and move the sticks. 3rd and short again. Diallo. First guy couldn't get him. Second guy couldn't, but coming in to polish it off. Harmon was there, and then the last man in was Quinn Brown. So a pair of 265-pounders hit Diallo and throw him for a 3-yard loss. And instead of 3rd and inches, it's 4th and a short 4.
But that's where that shotgun comes into play. I mean,
Exactly.
you're trying to run a sweep out of the shotgun, and you're starting 3-4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Then you're taking a chance on getting a loss for 3 or 4 yards.
Hatton rolls to his right, throws it to Diallo, but he is just going to get smothered for another loss on a turnover on downs. So a 7+ minute series for the Indians goes for naught. Cardinals will take over at their own 40.
Scott County read that really well. Had 2 guys right there on the back. If you'll remember the last time on a 4th down, they ran that little dump pass. We were calling for a quarterback sneak. Instead, they sneaked the back out of the backfield, got a 1st down out of it. That time, 4th and 3, and Scott County was ready for it.
Scott County defense looking for its 3rd shutout of the season, 4 if you count the COVID-19 forfeit. The only losing team to score on them was Great Crossing. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling is Luke Colvin up to the 36 of Montgomery County. A gain of 24 for the senior.
And Colvin could have cut to the outside and maybe outran, but he was just looking for somebody to run over.
We saw him take one to the house a few weeks ago, and I don't think that satisfied him enough. He likes contact.
We got a new quarterback in too, Cal.
Yeah, it would make sense to get Hickey out of there. Is it Drumheller in tonight? Probably Caden Drumheller. It is indeed. The sophomore, 6'1", 158 pounds. He's listed as a tight end on the roster, but he is also the backup quarterback as Aaron Klein was lost for the year to an injury. Straight ahead gain to the 29. It'll be 2nd and 2. They'll give it to the fullback again. Spins forward. I don't think he got the 1st down. It's Jacob Fryman, another sophomore, 5'8", 194 pounds. Fryman was the workhorse in the freshman Super Bowl last year that Scott County won over Great Crossing in November.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of 2s and 3s already.
Yes, we are. 3rd and 1. The starters have done their job. Fryman will get the 1st down across the 25.
Well, and I think a lot of that, we talked about maybe a series, but with Montgomery County taking 7.5 minutes off, It's like, okay, let's go ahead and let these guys.
We've seen enough out of those guys. They've got some heavier lifting ahead of them the next 2 weeks and the week after that.
1st and 10 for the Cardinals on the Indians 25.
1st down at the Montgomery County 25. It's Fikert. He's still in the game. So we've got a couple of 1s or 1As at least in there. He'll gain a couple. They're kind of shuffling players in and out. Colvin coming back into the game now. Fryman will sit down.
2nd down and 8.
Another running start for Colvin, and he hits somebody. Yeah, and he hits somebody after the whistle, so that's going to cost the Cardinals 15. You said he wanted to find somebody to hit. Yeah. He hit him twice, unfortunately. Yeah, and that will get Fryman sent back into the game, and we'll get Colvin a what for from Coach McKee. He says, I don't want to hear it. You know better.
Yeah, and that's the last thing you want to do when you're getting your chance, you're getting some runs, you're looking good, but
no, that's the kind of foolishness we see from another team on the schedule, and you don't want to do that. That's not your identity.
Yep.
Third and long after that. It's a sweep. Good yardage, but it will be well short as they face double sticks. It's Fikert again to the 22, so it'll be.
I wonder if they won't try a field goal as good as
he's got another shot. It's 4th and 8.
I think
Sure
they
enough,
are.
Band just trotting out there again. It's going to be about the same distance. Mark it right at the 30. This try will be 40. The first one was from 41. Will Height will hold it. Band will try to make it 49-0. Kicking to the other end zone this time. Toward the field house. Kick is up. Looks like it's heading left this time.
Yeah, just hooked it.
It's no good.
No good on the final play of the third quarter.
And he's kicking himself a little bit. He had plenty of leg.
Yep.
Just pulled it just a hair.
He's 1 for 2. It's his first missed kick of any kind this year, as he's been perfect on the PATs.
And that's probably why he's so down on himself. You know, obviously the game is in hand, but it was a matter of a pride thing where
We'll do a sound check.
maybe wanted to keep that streak alive.
Dance team joining us for the Between Quarters entertainment. Jeremy Hamilton joining the dance team down there on the sideline. He's getting into it. He says, I got moves. Danny Armstrong as well. Luke Colvin, not so much. He's just laughing at it all.
Oh, goodness.
The joy of a 46-0 lead on senior night. Hatton 11 for 22 for 63 yards in the passing game. Montgomery County is up to 65 total yards. They're on the plus side, 12 carries for 2 yards rushing.
I'll tell you, those numbers from Hickey is what really stands out.
Yeah, 3 of his 7 completions went for 6. Over 100 yards again. Coming into tonight on the season, his stats weren't bad at all. 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Had completed close to 50% of his throws. Donathan, the intended receiver, again incomplete from Hatton. After the touchback on the missed extra point, so it'll be 2nd down and 10. Clock ticking with 11:33 to play in the game. 46-0. The halftime score is still the score. Jones,
That's a good run.
positive
right there.
yardage. Haven't been able to say that much tonight, but he gains 3. Christian Rodriguez, the kickoff specialist, in on the tackle.
Gain of 4 on the play. Third down.
Hatton in the shotgun throws it high. Tall brings it in right just about at the sticks. If they give him the forward progress, it'll be a 1st down, and it looks like they will. They should, and they do. Indians moving the chains here in the second half. Too little too late, but they will try to get on the board.
And I like the way the young guys for Scott County swarm to the ball there. You got a lot of young guys in on defense right now, but coming together.
Scott County, as we mentioned, trying to hold the fort and get its 3rd shutout on the field, 4th overall this season. That could have been a pick 6. As it is, it'll be an incomplete pass. Well read Just couldn't keep the hands on it.
By Scott County's Justin Stevenson.
Justin Stevenson over there on the play. So, yeah, pretty much a full unit of twos. Logan Jones is still out there for the starting defense.
Cal, I've got Stevenson listed as a freshman. That's
Yeah, he may be another one of those reclassified freshmen. They've got several on the roster. Isaac York, we mentioned. Eli Lilly. Lots of time for Hatton. He will throw it deep down the left side. He's got his man, but overthrows him just by a step. It'll be 3rd and 10.
boy, he cut it loose right there. That's a long throw.
He's got a strong arm, both straight line and deep.
He threw that 65 yards.
I would say with all the D3 and NAIA options at the very least in the state of Kentucky, he will probably be able to continue his football career beyond Montgomery County after next year. Hatton hands it off this time. That will not get the first down. It'll be 4th and 5. Adrian Jones has been the workhorse both weeks here at Bird's Nest Stadium for the Indians. A.J. Wands makes the stop.
Fourth down and 5.
Lots of time again, but nowhere near the intended receiver. A couple of Cardinals were closer. Jones and Belcher.
Yeah, they had him bracketed right there, which is what you want to do. Don't give up the big play.
7:43 and counting. Cards probably headed out for their final offensive series of the night. We'll see. Only their second of the half. First one was set back by a penalty and it ended in a missed field goal. Gain of 9. Tristan Lloyd on the carry. He's a 5'7", 174-pound junior. A lot of names we don't get a chance to call very often, so we'll try to get as many of them mentioned as we can. Caden Drumheller, the quarterback. Straight ahead handoff. We'll get the first down. It's Jacob Fryman again. Good-looking 194-pound sophomore fullback. Probably the heir apparent there to Montego Jones.
And that was another good tackle right there by Brody Shaw. We called his name quite a bit last week.
Fryman again, dragging tacklers inside the 15. Cardinals might put another one up on the board here, the way they're churning it out right now.
Yeah, that O-line is firing off.
With some new faces.
With some young guys. Yeah, they're in. They're excited. Hey, Coach Willard, look what I can do.
7, down and 3.
Fikert in motion. Drumheller will throw that way, but it's not to Fikert. It's to Isaac York, freshman. We saw him catch a couple of passes in the starting unit lineup a few weeks ago against Dunbar.
Talking about threading the needle there. There was white jerseys all around that ball.
Drumheller threw a bullet, 3rd and a long yard. Straight ahead, Fryman first down. Rules just shy of the goal line. He'll be marked at the 1. But I bet he'll get a chance to try to punch it in. 5 minutes and counting here on senior night. Jacob Fryman, touchdown.
Touchdown, Scott.
With 4:48 to play.
Young man runs hard.
Yes, he does. He looks like the prototype at that position.
Kicks up. It's good.
Kick is good by Bange, and it's 53-0.
Leads 53. Indians 2-0.
The band getting to play the fight song one more time.
Well, they came out and couldn't have asked for a better first half. I mean, complete domination on both sides of the ball and got what they wanted to get out of it, I think. And, you know, now it's okay. Let's move on. Let's continue to improve. And we'll
They've
take
got
this thing to Ballard next week. And
two really good chances to improve here. When we see the Cardinals again here on the Bird's Nest Network, it will be Friday, November the 5th. We have every reason to expect it'll be against the Great Crossing Warhawks. So tune in if you can't be here, and we hope you can be here. Rodriguez kicks it deep. Donathan returns it past the 35. They'll get their best opening field position. Nope, they'll mark him at the 34. So that's just been another thing. Domination by special teams in this game, too, and in all facets.
yeah, it has.
Onside kick, punt return, kickoffs.
And the field position start on both sides. You know, Scott County, I bet you look at their drives, the majority of them started inside Montgomery County's 40-yard line because they kept going for it on fourth down.
Similar to what Grant County has done in the past, where they
Yeah.
just go for it and go for it. And if you don't get it, well, it's going to be an early night. Diallo finds a little room past the 40.
Mikey Valencia on the tackle.
Mikey Valencia on the tackle. I believe he's a cousin to Luke. A lot of new names and faces and numbers in the game. Complete team victory tonight for the Cardinals. Good pressure here. Patton will get rid of it. He has got a cannon.
He sure
Incomplete.
does.
My goodness. He overthrows Ison by a good 5 yards.
Well, we saw that play last week where he actually is throwing from one hash all the way over to the other sideline. And, man, that is a difficult throw, and he makes it look easy.
And we've got a timeout here for Coach Monty with 2:51 to play. Never stops coaching, does Monty McIntyre?
No, I think he wants that shutout.
He
He's
certainly
like,
does.
Don't you let him get behind us.
We mentioned Lafayette and Dunbar, both shutouts earlier this season. Great Crossing scored once.
And that, you know, no matter who's in there, that's a pride thing. You want to see that.
They really held a very good Bryan Station team in check until the final 5 or 6 minutes of the game in that one. So this defense has really played its tail off since that opening debacle with Franklin County.
Well, and we said it then. You know,
This team will be different later.
Yes. And, you know that Franklin County has a good team, but you knew that Scott County was going to improve. And
But I will say I'd like to see that game again. As Tall makes the catch on his own sideline, it'll be a first down for Montgomery County at the Scott County 32.
yeah, well, there's no doubt that Scott County was doing some stuff that they just don't normally do as far as the offense was concerned. And they got back to, all right, we're going to do what we've been doing well for the last 20 years.
What we've done for a quarter century. Yeah. Handoff. Good room for Diallo there inside the 25. Be another first down. He loses his helmet, so he'll be headed to the sideline for a play. It'll be under 2 minutes by the time they snap it again, and this is reminiscent of last year when Montgomery County scored on the last play of the game. They do have 3 timeouts if they choose to use them. It's 1s against 2s and 3s right now, so the odds are in their favor. Hatton under pressure. He's got tall, but he overthrows him by a ton.
Kind of gave up on that route, though.
Yeah,
right
he
there.
did. He just stopped short, and it was closer to whomever was defending for Scott County over there in the uniform with the black numbers that are way too dark to read when they're standing in the corner.
We've battled this all year, haven't we?
We certainly have, especially on that side of the field. It is not happening. I am sorry. I apologize in advance. Of course, I took down all my rosters because I basically figured this game was over. Jacob Romero, sophomore.
Oh,
there's an inside handoff to Jones to the 10. He almost loses his footing. Taken down at the 5, and now the drama, 47 seconds. Will Moco call timeout?
That's exactly what I was thinking is, will they try to get this ball in?
This is like Groundhog Day. I watched this game over in Mount Sterling last year. Hatton to throw.
Oh,
threw it behind his man. I think it got knocked down, actually. Rodriguez.
And they will call time.
With 20.6 seconds to play.
And I don't blame Montgomery County, right? You want to feel, better about yourselves. Give them a little something to feel good about when they go into practice on Monday. You wonder what they'll come out with right here, though, whether it'll be a rollout or they could also, with Tall being, a big lanky guy, they might just throw a jump ball up.
Yeah, they've got the 6'4" quarterback and a 6'2" favorite target.
He's in the slot
against
right
some
now.
younger kids. Instead, they will dump it off to the running back, incomplete. 15 seconds, 14, and now do you use another timeout? How badly do you want it? They will just hustle. They will run one more play. This is it. Third shutout of the season or heartbreak? Not really. Touchdown. Just like last year, Devin Tall at the final horn, and Scott County bench is like, oh, my word.
You can see Coach McIntyre. He's
I know there's no Las Vegas line on this game, but will they make them kick the extra point? I guess they will.
I guess they are. No, they're referees are heading to the locker room.
Well, that's it. Your final score: Scott County 53, Montgomery County 6. The kind of confusing ending there. We apologize, but congratulations to the Indians. You got a long bus trip home feels a little better when you put one on the board, I guess. We'll be back with you in a couple of weeks for the final game of the regular season. Great Crossing against Collins. That's Friday night, October the 29th. If you want to see Great Crossing Douglas tomorrow night on the NFHS Network, tune in at 6 o'clock. They're going to try to beat the weather there. Until next time, for Scotty Sutton, for Brett Smith, for James Scoggin, for Mike Scoggin, for DT Wells, I'm Merely Cal Oaks. Good night. God bless. Check out the story at newsgraphic.com. Subscribe to our YouTube page. for more great coverage of football as we head down the stretch this season. Until next time, see you on the sidelines. Thank you.